Guess what, guys? It's freaking time. Dexter Slice and Dice, or actually just Slice. I did the dice bit on, but it's from Koka Labs. It's sent down to us by CROSSTHELIMITS, and we're going to be giving it the usual treatment of taste, price, label and effects, and we're hoping it's going to be a good one because all of the previous Koka Labs pre's have generally always been slappers. From the original Dexter to the Explosion pre-workout they did to the Dexter Halloween, you guys know the drill. Will it be a good one? Stick around and find out. And if you're new here, please do hit the like button, sub button, bell icon, all the usuals. Let's get sliced. And so it begins with the taste segment. Very translucent, and take it from me, the mixability is very, very good. So anyway, the flavour we've got is strawberry kiwi. Let's see what we think. I've used it a couple of times already, but let's see how it goes today. I remember that from last time. Like the gas, the sort of powderiness or gassiness, whatever you want to say, shoots down your neck and up your nose. It's one of those ones. Because it got me last time I drank it and I bloody forgot. It's like, ooh. But anyway. Christ, it almost done me again. It's definitely got some, I'll tell you what it is. Give you a little label spoiler. It's got to be that cayenne pepper. Because I am a pansy when it comes to spicy stuff. So, no wonder it's doing me in. Strangely enough though, when you're actually drinking the pre, you can't taste much spice. It just has got like a spicy essence that kind of leaps off of the drink down your neck. But anyway, strawberry kiwi. It's nice. It's very smooth, soft tasting, not overbearing, nice and sweet, not really sour. Surprisingly, no nasty undertones coming through, considering there are a few different bits and pieces in here that would be quite hard to mask. So yeah, generally speaking, I think they've done a good job. So let me just quickly neck this here. What am I even doing taking this pre so late in the day? I'm going to definitely regret this tonight. Anyway, we'll get into all that in the effects. But I will give it a very solid 7.5 out of 10. And you will have seen any other flavours it comes in. So you've got a few options there. But let's get into price. Hello, it's price time. So, if you want to pick it up after this review, if you enjoy the effects, head over to crossthelimits.co.uk where you can use our discount code RB5%. You have to input the percent symbol. You can pick up this full 30 serving tub for £41.80 or £1.39 per the serving. You viewers will know that we have a consistent price scale that measures how expensive pre-workouts are, where a 5 out of 10 on that scale is the bang average price point. This comes in at a nice 6.5 out of 10, so it's actually priced a reasonable amount better than your average price point on the market. So, will we be getting some decent bang for buck here is the ultimate question we'll be asking, and we will be demystifying that question as we head into the label and the effects. Blue Steel. Okay dudes, just pulled up at JD Gym for a nice juicy leg day, so let's bash out this label and I will get my session underway. So it says on here, precision, focus, no mercy, cut the weakness, clean energy, dirty results. I love all the catchphrases. That is selling it to me in and of itself. But anyway, so we got ourselves a 7-gram scooper, and for you guys, if you haven't picked up on it already, this is a fat burner pre-workout hybrid. Hence why it's a bit lesser on the serving amount, because generally speaking, fat burner pre's don't have pump ingredients and endurance ingredients and things like that, because they're cutting the shit essentially. They're giving you the stimulants and the fat burners, and that's what we got here, so hence the 7 grams. First up, we got a C2L-carnitine, HCl at 1500 milligrams, nice dose. That is a form of L-carnitine that's actually going to help with your focus and concentration. Then we have L-carnitine L-tartrate at 1 gram. This form of L-carnitine is going to help with your fat burn. It's going to use fat cells as energy and burn them up. Then we've got L-tyrosine at a gram, a nice dose, typical dose you'd like to see. Amino acids going to help with your focus and concentration. Then we've got CDP choline, acetylcholine, 250 milligrams, a pretty decent dose again. And again, similar to L-tyrosine, it's going to help with your focus and concentration. It's going to bump up your acetylcholine in the brain, which is depleted heavily when you're training. It's one of the components responsible for firing your muscles, you know, making your muscles work as they should do. So, you know, in turn, it's going to help with your athletic performance. Then we've got N-phenylethyl dimethylamine citrate, 250 milligrams again. And for you eagle-eyed, knowledgeable viewers, you will know that that is otherwise known as Ureagerensis. And that's in there at a really good dose. You know, we have seen, don't get me wrong, up to 500 milligrams, but that is entering ridiculously crazy realms. 250, however, is still not to be sniffed at. It's a substantial dose, let me just tell you. So that's going to help with your focus and concentration, some energy and drive. And then we've got the real deal up next, the real deal Chris Cormier for you bodybuilding fans, which is 2-amino isoheptane at 200 milligrams, which is otherwise known as DMHA. So that's going to be the main ingredient that's going to be selling this pre-workout, if I was to hazard a guess. That's a banned ingredient, a synthetic chemical that's basically going to increase your levels of alertness, energy, drive, focus, euphoria. You're going to know if it's in there. Most of you guys, if you've been around the pre-workout block and you've used your DMHAs, it has a very specific type feel to it. So generally speaking, you know if it actually is the real deal or not. So fingers crossed. We move down to caffeine anhydrous at 200 milligrams, which is a little bit less than we normally see. Normally see 3 to 350. However, there is more coming up, so I won't say too much on that front. But it's the main stimulant that's going to wake you up and get you moving. And in terms of that dose alone specifically, it's a little bit more than your average energy drink. Then we've got caffeine citrate at 100 milligrams, so you normally yield 50% of that as actual caffeine. So that's a fast-acting form of caffeine. It kicks in almost instantaneously. I think it does actually have some oxygen uptake benefits and things like that as well. But in any case, it's a stimulant. It's going to kick in fast, wake you up, get you moving again. Then we've got dicaffeine malate at another 100 milligrams, which is a 75% yield of caffeine, so obviously 75 milligrams there of additional caffeine, topping up the 250 dose to 325 milligrams, which is bringing us more into that typical average realm of caffeine of what we see in pre's. So that's a slower digesting form of caffeine. It's going to trickle in, kick in a little bit later after the citrate and the anhydrous have worn off. It's an anti-crash mechanism. It just helps you keep going on strong throughout the end of your gym session. Then we've got cayenne pepper extract at 75 milligrams, which I mentioned vaguely in the taste segment. It's going to help to rev up your metabolism, get you a bit of a sweat on. It's got a bunch of health benefits. It's packed with vitamins. It helps with your immune system and your heart health and things like that. But it's in here for the fat burning components, you know, for the revving up metabolism, sweat on type benefits. Then we've got halostatin, 75 milligrams again, which is a very fast acting stimulant. It's got a short half-life, so it's in and out of your system relatively quickly compared to some other stimulants. It's going to, again, provide additional energy, stimulation, maybe some fat burning off the back of that, because obviously any stimulant that's going to raise your heart rate is naturally, as a result, going to increase your metabolism and therefore increase fat burning. Then we've got alpha-yahin by 90%, raucine 2 milligrams, which is the ingredient that personally scares me more than DMHA, because this ingredient can give you those sweaty, jittery, salivary, almost ill type feelings when it kicks in and when it's at a certain dose. You know, if you've used it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's in here for its fat burning benefits, for its energy production benefits. I think it's most useful from a fat burning standpoint on an empty stomach, as far as studies show. But yeah, so 2 milligrams, that's probably the absolute cut-off point for me before I start to get too many negative effects to the point where it takes away from my gym session. Like I'm just, as I mentioned, cold sweats, dribbles, uncontrollable energy, shortness of breath. But fear not, as I say, it's in here at 2 milligrams, so we might just about cop some of the benefits without going off the cliff edge too much with too many negatives. So fingers crossed. Obviously I know I've used it, but you guys don't. Anyway, that is it. I'm going to get moving because I think it's starting to kick in. I'm starting to chat gibberish and I've noticed that I'm speaking quicker than normal, so that has to be a sign, doesn't it? So yeah, catch you guys later. Let's get sliced and diced. guys, just leaving the gym now, and please accept my sincere condolences on the lack of lighting.
Bravo 6, going dark.
Obviously summer is, as sad as it is to say, we are edging our way towards the end of summer, so the evenings are drawing in. Anyway, on other news, DEXTER Slice, what did we think? It sure as hell sliced me up, I tell you that much. So today was leg day, so it was the ultimate test, as leg day is generally speaking the most taxing, if you're training them hard, that is, which I like to think I do most of the time. Anyway, let's stop fluffing up the effects section and get down to brass tacks, as they say. So I watched Dragon Ball Super Superhero today, and I watched Dragon Ball Broly last week, so my motivation is at an all-time high. You add in a good old pre-workout to the mix, an illicit one nonetheless, and of course you're going to have a smashing gym session. You know, you got everything you need right there. So yeah, the pre-workout, obviously there's no beta-alanine, so for those of you who know what that is, that's that itchy tingly ingredient. Wow, you really can't see me at all, can you? It's going to be like an audio book. But lesson learned. Maybe you can see a little bit of lighting off the mic. Yeah, no beta-alanine, no itchy tingles with this pre-workout. So if that's something that normally bothers you, you haven't got to worry about it here. We're not really talking about pumps, because this pre isn't promising pumps, nor is it giving you pumps. It's also not really giving you endurance ingredients as such. So we are primarily looking at energy / stimulation, focus, and fat burning. So like I say, let's get fat burning out of the way first. I'm happy to report that the alpha yohimbine is, even at the full scoop, is at a very sweet spot amount. So personally for me, I get that alpha yo buzz, and I just about avoid the negative effects, which, as I mentioned in the label section, you know, the jitters, cold sweat, saliva, yada yada. So I did enjoy that fact that the alpha yo is dosed perfectly for my personal preference. Obviously, if you don't like alpha yohimbine, that is, for you guys that aren't too sure, this pre-workout will not be ideal for you. Straight up. The only thing you could do, which I've tried, is half serve it. You know, take 3.5, 4 grams, and you're obviously going to slice, no pun intended, that alpha yohimbine dose in half, and then you really will avoid 90-95% of those negative effects. So there is that option. But anyway, as I say, even on the full scoop, the 2 milligrams is just about avoiding it. I can kind of feel it starting to seep in, go down those negative realms, but just about avoid it. So fantastic. So that's just one of many fat burning elements. As you know, we've got a few other bits and pieces in there. You definitely sweat more than you otherwise would on this pre-workout. That is a matter of a fact. So, you know, what goes in hand with that? Obviously more calorie expenditure. So if you're on a cut, that's going to be obviously ideal. You know, summer's not over yet, even though I did say we're approaching the end. You know, it's not too late to get a bit of a shred on, is it, in the final weeks? You know, if you do want to plan a last minute beach trip or what have you. One other thing I was going to touch on that actually is appetite suppression. And surprisingly, I say surprisingly, it really does suppress your appetite. I was going to say surprisingly because a lot of these fat burner pre's, unless they're absolutely loaded to the brim with fat burning components, I'm talking like half a dozen plus ingredients, I generally don't feel too appetite suppressed on them. But this one, given that it's only got a few fat burning ingredients, when we get down to it, the appetite suppression is very much apparent. Like I have to genuinely force myself to eat after gym, just for the sake of knowing that I've got to get the calories in, not because I'm hungry. And obviously for you guys that are motivated, dedicated, whatever word you want to use, you will just eat anyway, because you've got to get it in you. But as I say, if you are on a cut, great, because it's going to suppress your appetite, right? And it's going to curb that hunger, less chance of snacking and eating crap between your meals, yada, yada, yada. So yeah. One other thing I wanted to touch on as well, attached to that element, is drink plenty of water. Drink, drink, drink. I'm talking at least 2.5, 3 litres, if not more, a day. Because, you know, water is the essence of life. So yeah, make sure you're well hydrated on this pre, because you will be sweating out a lot of water. So yeah, from a fat burning perspective, it gets the job done. Is it the best fat burning pre-workout I've ever used? No, but I would say it's definitely mid-tier. It's not it's not low tier, so it's not doing nothing. It's also not high tier, so it's not absolutely kicking your ass. But it is definitely doing something, as I mentioned. So yeah, there's your fat burning for you. Now let's get on to the meat and potatoes. Arguably, possibly, the main reason you'd buy it is for that DMHA. Is it legit? The answer is yes, as it's been in all of these DEXTER pre-workouts. They've got the good sauce. They've got that Krabby Patty formula. So yeah, guys, it is the real deal from a DMHA perspective. It's in there at a really nice dose. I think that Urea Durensis and the nootropics really complement it well. It doesn't feel like an overbearing amount of DMHA either, so it doesn't feel like any of the crack pre-workouts. You know, that could be good or bad for you, but it doesn't send you to the absolute moon. It doesn't ruin the rest of your day. It doesn't crash you off nastily. But it is still in there. You do definitely feel that euphoric buzz, drive, just locked in kind of vibe, where you're just, the weights are feeling light, you know, the movement is feeling buttery smooth. It just gets you in that grind set to send it, essentially. Yeah, if you was looking at buying this pre because you want a DMHA buzz with a side order of fat burning, then absolutely yes, it ticks that box. It's probably half as strong as a typical crack pre-workout from a DMHA perspective. Just trying to give you a ballpark. So yeah, very, very nice. Energy perspective in general, what we saying? I'm saying energy lasts a good 2.5, 3 hours, and then it slowly comes down. I wouldn't say there is a harsh crash, but there is a bit of a come down. I'd be lying if I said there isn't, but it's more so because it has you training like a lunatic and because you've sweated a fair amount of water out of your system. So of course you're going to be feeling a bit busted up after. It'd be crazy if you didn't. So do bear that in mind as well. So if you are taking it earlier on in the day, you know, you might start to hit a bit of a slump after the fact. However, having said that, it is packed with nootropics, so from a mental standpoint, you do still stay on the ball and locked in. It's just physically you do feel a bit dead, and we say that in almost every illicit DMHA pre-workout review because it just comes with the territory. So yeah. And on that note, definitely don't risk taking it too late in the day. Don't be a moron like me and take it at almost 8 PM because you probably will struggle to sleep. So yeah, maybe try and aim to take it no later than mid-afternoon as a cut-off point. In terms of frequency of use, I would say a couple of times a week you should be okay, but I wouldn't get into realms of taking it too frequently just because, you know, we are talking illicit stimulants at the end of the day and you don't want that in your system more often than not, really. You know, it starts to take its toll on your adrenal glands and your general health after a while, doesn't it? Let's be honest. You have an absolutely savage gym session every time you use it. And I think I mentioned earlier, but I have tried it on half a scoop, and you do still get a decent amount of kick from the pre-workout with even more minimal side effects in terms of, you know, the slight negatives that I've already mentioned. I 100% recommend it. It's the real deal. It works. It does what it says on the tin. I really, really like this pre-workout. It's probably one of the nicest feeling fat burning pre-workouts I've used because I'll be honest, when the guy sent it over, I first thought, oh crap, it's a fat burning pre. That's going to bust me up. But it feels good. It strikes a nice happy medium between hitting that fat burning area that you want, but also allowing you to train hard. It doesn't sap you. So I really, really do think they've hit a nice balance with this pre-workout. So yeah, highly recommend it for the price point, easily. And it does what it sets out to do at the end of the day. So I haven't got any criticisms from that standpoint at all. Really, really enjoyed it. And if you guys have used the Koka Labs stuff before, then you know they're the real deal. You know, they don't flop like some of these other ones that make these crazy claims and then don't pull through. This is the real shit. So yeah, obviously DMHA pre's are a dying breed, and I'm happy to say this one gets our stamp of approval and it is legit. So yeah, I think that's everything, guys. I'm just pulling up home now, quite a long effects section. I'll see how much I can slice down the effects to keep it more concise. But yeah, that is everything, guys. Appreciate you checking in for this one. I know it's quite a hyped one. All of the Koka Labs stuff seems to be. But yeah, you're safe to go ahead and purchase this one if it sounds right to you. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Stay stimmed.